Hello and welcome to GauntletCon 2018. We are playing Alas for the Awful Sea, which is powered by the apocalypse. Today here we have a wonderful crew aboard this ship. It's more like a boat in this scenario, but still, we've got Catherine, Pat, and Sid to join me on this epic seafaring adventure. So, Alas for the Awful Sea is a 19th century game about love, loss, longing, and sort of the emotionality that comes with the isolation of these cold, barren landscapes. And in this particular scenario, we are playing a three-player game. We're playing with the Kinsmen, the Lover, and the Outcast. So I will have each of the players pick one of those three things. I can tell you a little bit more about them. I'm not sure if anyone's had a chance to look. They all have sort of background information associated with them, but they are pretty descriptive. So in terms of how the scenario is set up, the lover is in love with an NPC who we will name, and the lover is going to elope essentially with this person. It is a dark night when the lover and their kinsman sets out for this endeavor. So the lover and the kinsman will be sort of together and aligned in purpose at the start. And the outcast is actually part of the family of the loved. So sort of on the other side in the sense of the family of the loved don't want to see them go with the lover. So that's kind of the beginning positions of those characters, and we'll sort of flesh that out a little bit more. But I think that's enough to go on for now in terms of choosing. So if there's one in particular that stands out to any of you, feel free to shout out. Or process of elimination the other way.
I wouldn't mind grabbing the Kinsman.
Okay, cool. So we'll have Catherine as Kinsman.
What are you feeling, Pat?
I don't know, Sid. Do you want to be a lover or do you want to be an outcast?
It's role-playing games, right? So we should be things we aren't in real life. So I should probably be someone who's loved.
Oh.
So I'll go the lover.
All right, I'll take the outcast then.
That sounds very exciting.
Perfect. As we're launching into this game, I'm going to say a couple of words. First, the X card is on the table. And as always in Gauntlet games, the players are much more important than the game. So let's all take care of each other. I'm sure this group will have no trouble loving each other all over the place. So the way character creation in this particular scenario works is we're going to start with the lover. So Sid, by your choice, we are going first with you.
Start with strength, I understand. Let's do it.
Yep, we're going to start with your background sheet. So here's the introduction. It's 1824 in the Outer Hebrides, a remote chain of islands off the coast of Scotland. Sid, you are the lover. During the last year, you have fallen madly in love with another. Today, you have sailed here with the sole purpose of taking the one you love back to your home so that you may live evermore together in happiness. You burn with a passion that will not be denied. You are also the sister, brother, or cousin of the kinsman, and we'll get you to answer the following questions. So, what is the name of the one you love?
Oh, man. Names are like my weakest thing. So, thanks for starting with names.
It's true.
I mean, I could just say Pat, because that's true. But let me grab myself a time-appropriate name. That is not time-appropriate.
Oh, and you have to answer.
I think Catherine can generate some for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm checking now.
How is it?
Struggling so hard. Oh, that's a good time-appropriate name. Oliver Wright. I will.
I love the name Oliver.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Oliver Wright is the one you love. What do they look like?
Oliver is a short man who wears very thin-rimmed glasses and probably balding on top of his head, and wears a heavy coat. Suffers greatly in the English winters.
Scottish. It would be even cooler because we're in Scotland.
British.
Where did you meet Oliver, and how did you fall in love?
Oh boy, where did we meet? We need the cutest meet cute, right? So it's got to be
I mean, to set the sort of geography of the area a little bit more for you, the Outer Hebrides. So Oliver lives on a small island across this waterway called the Minch. And I think you probably come from the sort of more mainland, and Oliver comes from like this tiny, godforsaken island rock. Very poor place.
Okay. We met on the docks one day. Oliver had come over to the mainland for family reasons, and when he stepped off the boat, his foot went between the boat and the dock, and he like fell down, and his foot was soaked, and he was hanging onto the edge of the dock, and I had to go and rescue him, and it was adorable, honestly. You all should have been there.
And how did you fall in love?
How don't you fall in love with a vulnerable man with his foot stuck in the water? To be honest,
It's true.
I think it was just that like awkward flustering that he had. That like, I'm so sorry.
And what do you love about Oliver? Now that this is a while after, right? Maybe it's during the last year. So I however many months it is.
It's been like a week ago, and I am whirlwinding this. I think I love. I think it's like his naivety, right? Like he's lived on this small island for so long. He's like he's unaware of the world and the horrible things that happen at sea and all this stuff that I'm aware of. So yeah, it's nice to have a cute little kitten around.
Brilliant. So based on that, Sid, you can also, so in your folder that I've given you there, you've got a bunch of character sheets. So you've got the lover descriptor, but the character sheets, you can pick any of those available classes. And I guess just delete the PDFs that you're not going to use. Let us know what you've picked. There's one that stands out to you.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go for the scholar. I think that's kind of the vibe.
Cool. So that'll mean no one else can pick the scholar. Awesome. So we've got a scholar. We'll come back to flesh your character out a little bit once you've had a chance to fill out that playbook. So the next thing we do is we move on to the Kinsmen, who in our game will be Pat.
Yeah, maybe we need
Sorry, not Catherine, not Pat. Yeah.
Yeah. Cat, not Pat. Yeah, maybe we should call me Catherine. I don't know. Everyone calls me Cat, though. It's not Pat's fault.
It's true.
Yep. Cool.
So the Kinsmen, 1824 in the Outer Hebrides. You are the Kinsman, Pat. You are the sister, brother, or cousin of the lover. Your father is a landowner. Until 2 years ago, he sublet his land to many tenant farmers in return for a share of their yield of kelp. Farmers would dry the kelp into soda ash, and your father would sell the soda ash to factories to make soap and glass. But 2 years ago, in 1822, the price of kelp crashed, falling from 22 pounds a ton to 2 pounds. To avoid the financial impact of the crash, your father evicted all of the tenant farmers, their crops still unharvested, and converted those lands into sheep pastures. Your father, in his wisdom, put you in charge of evicting the farmers on the southern farms.
So as you sink into
So here are a few questions. How did you feel about your father's choice to evict the farmers?
I think he did right by our kin, but it was a hard business.
Absolutely. What was your approach to the evictions that you personally had to handle?
I offered passage to the mainland for anybody that wanted to leave, and those that I could find a spot on a crew for, I found a spot on a crew for. But those that would do neither, I let wander and told to get off our land.
There were obviously also tenants that resisted being thrown off their livings. They yelled and cursed at you, even turning to violence. How did you handle such tenants?
They got a warning, and then the second time I educated them in what a press gang is.
Oh, I like it. One warning only. One of the tenants you evicted was the family of the lover's paramour. So this is the right family. Oliver's family were one of the tenants you evicted. You have not yet told them about this. You're not sure if you should. You've come now to help keep the lover safe. So, as you don't think the family you evicted will take too kindly to one of their own leaving with your relation. It's also a good time to think about what kind of relationship you want with Sid's character. And Kat, do you have a character sheet that pulled up to you?
I think the captain is what's calling to me.
Ooh, I like it.
And I am the lover's sister.
Nice. Which brings us to the outcast. All right, here we go. 1824 in the Outer Hebrides. 2 years ago now, you and your family were evicted from your farm. Your brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins told to leave with only what they could carry. Join a crew, get shipped off elsewhere. That's what you were told. Now your kin has nowhere to go but this godforsaken island on which you live. The rent is almost nothing, but then such is the worth of the land. Nothing will grow here, and what dwells in the sea is devilishly hard to catch. What do you hate most about your family situation?
I think the thing I hate most is their reluctance to do anything about it. Like, I think they've just consigned themselves to, this is our life and this is what it's always going to be.
Yeah, I think so. You have a memory of the kinsmen from the eviction, right? What is it? We can. This one maybe we might need a little bit more from Catherine's character, unless you can sort of bounce off ideas if you feel.
Well, Catherine, you can tell me if this is good, or if you want me to take it a different direction. But my character would probably think that she was cold and uncaring.
It's a fair cop. It's a fair cop, but I blame my upbringing.
If I could press a little bit further, what was it like in that memory? Why do you feel like she was cold? Like, what's the situation or the image?
I imagine that we pleaded to stay, but it was, the edict was put in motion, and there was like really nothing we could do to stay there, and we're still made to leave. And not that it was the kinsman's decision, but that was like the face of it to us.
Yeah, To make matters worse, your family now barely tolerates you. The evictions left you desperate, and you did something for which your kin have never forgiven you. You're the black sheep of the family now, and you know your family resent you for the little you eat and the space you take on the floor of your small dwelling. What did you do, and why was it so hurtful to your family?
I think I left and tried to better my own situation when they begged me to stay and help the family. But I think I was like just so upset that they weren't really trying to do anything to better our lot in life. So I just left and went out on my own. So whenever I come home, they just give me the cold shoulder.
I like this parallel that your family pleaded with the Kinsmen and the Kinsmen turned a blind eye, and they pleaded with you, and it almost has a similar sort of moment. Cool. Who in your family despises you the most, and who secretly pities you?
I think the one that despises me most is I would have to say my mother despises me most, because maybe she believes that I should have never left and I needed to be here to care.
Yeah, and the other one is who secretly pities you.
Who pities me? Probably my I would say my older sister. I know we don't have no names yet, but I think my older sister pities me. Perhaps thinking Agnes. Awesome. Yeah, I think yeah, she just pities me, just thinking that, like, you know, I'm not thinking right. I'm not doing the right things. I'm not listening. I'm a lost cause.
It's too much. I think Darren stops.
She pities that you've wandered too far. All right, brilliant. And now you get to pick a character sheet as well.
Yeah, for this, I'm thinking the Strider.
Yeah, yep. That's, I can see that fitting in with your sort of streak of independence as well. Cool. So now we get sort of a moment to fill in our character sheets and descriptions. It is very similar to probably most other IP, powered by the Apocalypse system. You can pick, you know, a name, appearance, some stats, and you can document these on the character keeper, which I hope everyone's found their way to. So going through the character sheets themselves, you've got a special move, and then we'll be using the bonds, but in a very specific way. So don't fill out the bonds yet, and then you can just take note of the equipment that you have. And in the descriptors, they're a bit more different. Like each of those will be different per character. Some of you will have extra bonds. So, for example, Sid, you as the lover, your bond for this scenario is Oliver. In my heart of hearts, I know Oliver is my true love. And you've also got, you know, 2 extra special moves there. But everyone else will have slightly different things to fill out. The Kinsman is interesting. The Kinsman has a lot of things about the family, like their kin, that will obviously affect Sid's character. So, Catherine, if you wanted to bounce ideas of Sid, feel free. And the Outcast has something interesting that I would want to know about, which is, so we decided, you know, your sin that defines you, which is how you let your family down, essentially. I think for this scenario, you don't really necessarily have to choose an evidence of your sin, but if you can think of one, you can. Like a mark, something that marks you out as an outcast.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. Like, since his name's Jacob, since Jacob went out on his own, perhaps he got a tattoo showing that he's been on the sea, been a strider. So, like, that's not something a farmer would have.
Yeah, that's right. You've gone out and seen the world. And then you've also got 2 extra special moves there, Better Off Alone and the Public Eye. So, at this point, I'll give you all sort of a couple of minutes to fill that out. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Christopher Willis, Jacob. And Pat, yeah, do you have a name for your mother that we can use?
Let me look. Let's see. Elizabeth. Her name's Elizabeth.
Agnes, Elizabeth, Oliver. We've upped the Scottish levels. I totally forgot to do lines and veils. So feel free to also fill out the lines and veils section of this sheet as we're doing this. For those who might be watching who don't know what lines and veils are, they're a safety tool that we use in game. Veils being, parts of the stories or subject areas where we want to fade to black, and lines being lines we don't want to cross. So we can put our personal lines and veils in there, then we can respect each other's positions and not do those things.
Rules.
Gonna double check the bonds.
Yeah, it sounds like that's me, which means we need to see a flashback to a scene of that via the feelings of duty. Yeah.
So we should be in this game with, I'm going to try and take hourly bricks. And I guess if we're, if anyone's ready to sort of introduce their character, that'd be great. Yeah, sort of a little bit about them.
Sorry, V, I just want to check. Are we still doing the bonds, the traditional bonds?
No, so don't fill out the bonds yet.
Yeah.
I wanted, so I think we'll go through and everyone introduce their sort of like character to get everyone on pace. And once we've done that, we'll do bonds with each other. I'm also going to flesh out these NPCs a little bit.
All right, just to fill the audio for whoever's watching. I am playing Christopher Mclaughlin. I am the scholarly lover. I'm an older man, prematurely grey hair, and a face marked by time and the woes of the sea. I see Christopher's this kind of guy who went to sailing because he wanted to learn and do the whole Darwin Galapagos kind of thing, discover something new, document it, and basically just saw people starving and the horrors of the sea and terrible storms at night and sailors who used foul language and things like that. And it has left him a shadow of his younger self. And I'm a lover, and in my heart of hearts, I know that Oliver is my true love. And if you think we're going to get through this game without using the lover moves where, I get to test if my love is true, it's going to be so good. I'm very excited about it. I'm super interested in the relationship with my captain sister. It's going to be really exciting to figure that out. And I love the idea, given how how much of a good boy I am, how I'm going to respond to this tattooed outcast. That feels cool too. I'm super on board for both of your characters.
I'm super keen for that too. Who's next? Who's ready next?
I could go. So I'm playing Jacob Rollins. Outcast, but not really an outcast from society, more like an outcast from his own family. Has traveled the seas, has visited the South Pacific, and was enamored by the warrior culture there. As he's, being a strider, he's always sent, on shore to hunt for game and, refill the larder and stocks for the cooks of the ships. And when he returned home, had a large tattoo on his upper chest. It's kind of visible on the neck, but if he pulls his shirt up, you can't see it. But of course, his family sees the tattoo as being no longer a part of their inner circle, their clan, what have you. Stout, usually unshaven. Hair is usually cropped pretty close and tight. Clothes, can't really afford new clothes, so you could tell where the clothes has been patched up in various places, either by himself or somebody else. Yeah, that's Jacob.
I like it. Jacob probably is quite a skillful strider. Being as quite a skillful strider actually helps out a lot with getting the food for the family and catching things from the sea around here, even though it's hard. So, last but not least.
So Morag, or Sarah, as she's known to the Sassenach, Mclaughlin. She's the captain. She's younger. I guess she's younger than Christopher. It definitely looks younger than Christopher. She's a bit hot-blooded. Her family has allowed her to sail ships because there have been strong warrior women in this family since the Vikings were here. She owns a small sloop, the Margaret Canterhow, and she makes her life shipping and trading and occasional acts of totally ethical merchantry where people give me stuff.
Yes, yes. Following in the footsteps of your father.
But he's a pirate on land.
Yes,
I'm more
right.
traditional.
Perfect. Oh, I love a little cast already.
Yeah.
I really, really like all the strong personalities. So here are the bonds,
He
right?
doesn't really have
So
a
the
vibe,
Kinsmen
it's
should pick
kind of
one bond on their
easy.
character sheet to describe the lover.
And I think what he can really say is, what are you doing?
So
The
Morag
racing
chooses
team,
something
you know,
for
you know, pride.
her brother.
On the captain sheet or on the Kinsman descriptor?
On the captain sheet.
Okay, cool.
Captain sheet. So you pick one of those. Sid or Christopher will pick one bond with the Kinsman. Morag.
Should I pick
So
that I've
just-
convinced them I can communicate with birds?
That will make Haley very
I think
unhappy.
Gary just, like, spits on the
It's
ground.
Haley's most hated bond out of the ones that we wrote together. And lastly, the outcast. So we've got Jacob.
And what's past
Fill in
actually
2
part of
bonds
this?
on your character sheets. One to describe their relationship with the loved, and one to describe their relationship with one of the NPC characters, Agnes. So
Okay,
either
cool.
someone from your family, Agnes, Elizabeth, or Oliver. Pick 2 of those to have a bond with. If none of them seem to fit, more than happy
Nice.
for you to
Okay.
make a bond that appropriately
All right. Nice. So,
describes your relationship, gives
you both have
us
separate
a little
terms. It
bit
sounds
of
like you're
insight
trying to move
and
forward,
tension
is
into that
right?
relationship.
Mhm.
I have a bond that could probably throw a wrench into tension.
Yes.
By saying Christopher and I spent a questionable night huddled together during a snowstorm.
Oh no, you can't choose Christopher. Your 2 options
Okay,
are
so both of
Oliver. You mean Oliver?
roll 2d6.
You
Oh,
get- you
is it?
choose-
I thought one was a lover. Or do they both have to be NPCs?
No. You have the loved. Sorry. So Oliver. To rephrase
Oh,
it,
the
it's
loved.
Oliver.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the person who is loved. So Oliver and one of the NPCs that we had, your mother or your sister.
Right, but Oliver would be like my family, right? That's
Yeah,
My-
and it could be
okay.
questionable in a different way.
right. That's a little too questionable for my
It is
taste.
dividing
That's right.
hundreds.
Yeah, that's true. on
It's
a
very
lonely
normal,
rocky
very-
island. Yeah, I'll just I'll pick something else. So yeah.
Okay, so you're still gonna split. So, not quite.
Awesome. All right. So looks like we've got a couple of bonds there starting to appear. Sid, you've got for Christopher. Morag frightens me. I don't like the way she looks at me. Why?
Just had to do some text wrapping on that box there. I think that I believe, and I'm certainly not saying this is a factual statement. I think that I see how comfortable my sister is at the sea, and how willingly she goes out and does these horrible pirate things. And that frightens me because I'm just not taking to the sea as well as she is, and I believe that she is becoming like a horrible pirate that will be remembered in tales as like the sea witch sort of thing. That frightens me.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that because I feel like this place that you're going to might impact that a little bit. Good. Jacob, how does Jacob feel about Oliver? Oliver once racked up a debt and left me to pay the bill. Oh, Oliver is bad with money. What happened?
I think Oliver made a visit to probably a larger town or even a city, and they probably made fun of him being backwater and all, but I think Oliver was in over his head thinking that he could handle whatever the city threw at him, and realize games of chance, and cause a debt, and then realized couldn't pay it, so just went home. And I think perhaps some people in this town, it could have been a port town, pretty much told me, like, look, your family owes such and such a debt. You better pay up, or Oliver's gonna, you're never gonna see Oliver again. And I think I ended up paying that.
Oh, do your family know that happened?
Probably not. I probably wouldn't have told them that.
Yeah. Oh, they hate your guts, but they didn't realize you did something really nice to them. Right. He's got another one. You ready with yours?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me? Captain.
I know, Cat. Sorry.
Yep. No,
my Australian drawl makes it even harder.
It's fine. Yeah, I think Christopher once stood up to me and refused a direct order.
Ooh. Yeah.
And
So
I'm thinking this is actually on ship. Maybe one of his brief forays into trying to get into the family trade. And he refused a direct order. I think it's because he didn't understand what was going on. He may say something completely different and irrelevant.
I wonder what morally questionable thing you asked me to do.
Was it morally questionable, or was it just, yeah, probably morally questionable. I was going to say, was it just, something to do with the ship, but it was probably at least both.
Oh, was it just me being like a petulant brother and just like refusing to do a very simple task that that anyone could have been expected to do? You had ordered me to
tidy the desk.
Sorry. I was you'd ordered me to during a storm to climb up some rigging and hold something. Oh God, Kitty. Yes, game blessed by Kitty. You'd ordered me to climb up some rigging and retie a line that had come loose, and I just refused. Middle of this storm where everyone's working and we're all trying to keep this ship moving forward, and I'm just no, that's foolish and dangerous, and I refuse. And I stormed off because you are never too old to act like a child.
Were there any consequences of that?
Yeah.
It's up to you, Captain. Right,
because if this happened on deck, you would have to pull rank, right?
In front of everyone.
Yeah. What happened? What would... Captain Sarah.
How far do we want to go push this in the realm of actual naval practices of the 18th and 19th century?
We can take our liberties. but you may be inspired by such.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think I've got the sand today to have a flogging come into this. I just don't have it. um, I think the sailor I sent up fell to the deck and lost the use of his legs.
There were consequences, but not for me.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst kind of consequence.
Oh, that is truly evil. I love it. It's good. And the last one, Jacob's second one is you never lose your way, but when you do, Elizabeth is the only person you look to for guidance.
So Elizabeth, that was my older sister, correct? If I
Yes,
recall.
that is your older sister.
Yeah. So like I think I still, being probably the eldest in the family is like I still look to her for guidance, even though she secretly pities me.
So what's your relationship like with her?
I think we get along, but I think it's more of a like almost like she's like a more motherly than she is like sisterly. Like always like, tried to, care for me and all that, over being like the more siblings. Like she was like the second mother of the family.
Ooh. Awesome. Well, I think that concludes sort of unless anyone has any extra details they want to add to their character. I think we know our characters well enough to begin play, but we'll do a 5-minute break to sort of collect ourselves. When we come back, we'll launch into the first scene, which will be the introductory. We'll see Morag and Christopher on their little sloop coming towards the island, and we'll see Jacob in the one-room cottage on the island with the family there. All right, 5 minutes at 0, like on the hour. We'll come back and okay.
Sounds good.
See you soon.
V, I'm back.
Hello.
Very
Welcome back.
Well, I've got a break there. I just wanted to mention that my Monster of the Week game that I'm running starts when this one finishes, I think.
It's out. It'll
So
be
at, like,
probably early.
Which brings us
Yeah, starts at 3. So, you know, you got 3 hours between now and then. So no rush.
Yep. I've run this scenario in 3 hours before including the character creation, so we might not go the full 4 hours, which would be
You can
fine.
hack the idol.
That
Hack
fun
its golden.
Sounds good. I'm super excited.
Okay, cool. We all ready to go? I think, as I love flavor text, we are going to begin. It is the thick black of night. You have sailed a 6-hour journey from your home to the island where Oliver lives, to bear them back across the sea and away with you. Oliver knows that this is the night he will come. You've arranged to meet here on a small relief where the cliffs narrow to the shoreline and the rock touches the lapping water. You sit in your boat or the sloop and watch the rocks on the shore. So, Morag, what's your sloop like? What details do we notice of the sloop that sort of let us know how you've treated it over the years?
It's a reasonably large craft for its class. Not huge, it's a sloop. It's older, but everything is maintained trim. And the prized possession is 2 4-pound chasers that are mounted on the bow. Little brass cannons that are immaculately kept. They were a parting gift from her great-grandfather's Royal Navy career.
Have enough on that
Back before you were your
to
own
cross the
privateer.
finish line.
Actually, it wouldn't need to be great-grandfather, I guess grandfather.
The
And
Elven.
he's gonna-
Yeah,
he's
and I
gonna
think
have to say
you
that
both
he
had
has to roll
taken the
plus
sloop, this out over the open waters, and now that you're closer, you're getting into the little rowboat to the shore. And the rowboat, the rowboat is small and attached so that you can go to and from the shore. When the time is right, you're going to get close to get to the shore, row to pick up your love, and away. So the two of you, Morag and Christopher, you're sitting in that rowboat in the glowing light of the stars, and you're waiting. What are you talking about as your boat rocks on the dark waters?
I told Angus to keep it dice, but he's always worried about the shoals. Damn that American.
The waters seem unfriendly tonight. Do you think this is a bad omen?
I think everything's a bad omen. Let me tell you what an omen is. An omen is a wind that comes up when you're too close to a lee shore. That's a bad omen because you're going to die. This is nice. It's quite pleasant. This wind is not high. The stars are visible. What more do you need?
I would feel more comfortable if I could see what was happening under these churning waters.
If under the waters?
Yeah. And he just dips like a finger in and just kind of swirls it around a little bit, and it's just like I always wonder what's under there watching us.
Brother mine, there's not down there but Davy Jones and his collection of dead seamen and their treasures.
Well, here is a good opportunity to show one of the moves, Sense What's Beyond. As you dip your finger in the water and you break that water tension, it feels more substantial maybe than you normally think when you put your hand in the water. So sense what's beyond. When you wish to sense what's beyond in the water, when you're curious as to what's under the waves, roll plus beyond. Connect with the supernatural at work in the world.
I'm rolling. I'm not good at Beyond, by the way. Just to set expectations, it's a -1
Yep.
for me. Oh, that's all right. 5 and a 6 with the
Five and a
-1 makes it a
six.
10.
It's still a 10.
Give me
You
that
receive
10.
visions and truths. Oh, okay. So, let me tell me what you're searching for in the water.
Oh boy, I don't think I'm searching for good things is the problem. I'm searching for like omens. I think I'm searching for like some sign of quiet and calm, that tonight will be an easy, pleasant night with no obstacles whatsoever.
So you, as your role, get visions and truths. So what you see in the water, the little rowboat comes around the cliff, and now you're getting a view into that relief where it's a sort of rocky outcrop where you're supposed to be meeting the Oliver. And instead of the single form of Oliver, you see three forms on the shoreline, and reflected in the water where you sort of you had your finger, it sort of shimmers, their reflections in the water shimmers. And Christopher, it's almost as if you see their true reflections in the water, right? And you definitely see there's 2 males and a female. The 2 males you can see clear as day in the water, even though they're shadowed on the beach, on the rocks. Is they're drunk and itching for a fight. You see one of them sort of play with a knife on his belt, and you see one woman full of fire. I'm going to throw this one to Pat. What's Elizabeth's emotional state like? Because it's going to be fully reflected in the water. What was she like when Jacob left her tonight?
Yeah.
She's out here to scare these people away.
Probably stressed. Overworked and stressed, I would say.
Yep. So you see that like furrowed brow clear as day in that water.
Oh goodness.
I think they spot you, I guess, at this point. Unless, do you guys want to react first, or?
I think that like I just touch my sister's arm with that same like wet hand that's come out of the water. I'm like, God damn, that kitty is awesome. We're being approached.
And you had told me that there would be none here but your beloved.
Seems our plans begin to go awry.
And that's when you hear cutting across the water. Ho there! Why don't you come ashore? We want just a wee little chat.
Hello, the land.
Hello, the sea.
And who is it that calls out to us who are passing by, all nice and peaceful like?
It's only us, tenant farmers, having a nice night out, looking for friends in dark places. Why don't you come on ashore? We've got much to discuss. Especially that one there, that pudgy, lily-skinned one there.
No, go on. Keep telling me about him. Well, brother mine, what shall we do? Shall we go and join your friends? Perhaps they've brought your true love.
I don't like the look of any one of them, but if they are here instead of Oliver, I suspect something terrible has been done to him. And so I must wreak vengeance upon their skulls, if that is true.
You're Mclaughlin in your heart, after all, brother mine. Well, bring us in. Surely the ardor of your beating heart shall give your arms the extra strength to get us over over the surf.
I shall bring you into land, my sister, and later you shall take me again out to sea. Away.
So I man the tiller to bring us in, but I'm already freeing my sword just in case.
And what's your motivation?
Oh, for sure. I love it. Let's cut now to Pat. So Jacob Rollins is in your home. So there's a stone cottage, I think, further up on this island, where you can sort of oversee the cliffs and sort of have a pathway down to where that rocky outcrop is. And I think
Nice.
you are there
so
with Oliver, and you are there with your mother, Agnes. And Agnes is, when we open on this, is sort of Agnes looking out into the night and shooing you two inside.
How you take the item and include in that.
And she's sort of fussing about on the threshold, with half a foot inside and half a foot into that cold night air.
So it's also on the move sheet on the second page.
What do you and Oliver say to each other?
Than you expect.
I look at Oliver and I'm like, you see that? That's all your fault. Mama's gonna catch a death standing out there in the cold, worrying.
Because you're acting from desperation, so I guess the idea is that
I know.
you do something.
I've told her not to. Mother, come in. Oh, or I guess it's like aunt. It's your mother, Oliver's aunt. Come in out of the cold. And Agnes is like, oh, pish posh. I've been out here for years now. 2 years of this air didn't kill me. It's not going to kill me now.
Please, Mother, a second is a second, a minute is a minute. Walking around's not going to make it move any faster.
Yeah, I think she will. I think she like grunts and slams the door shut. And there's this sort of ring to it. And you're all now seated around the old family table. I think it's like the one piece of furniture that was kept from the old place to here, like, even though it's totally unreasonable to bring in this table. It's an old family thing, and so you brought it here.
Yeah, it definitely dominates the room. Takes up most.
Yeah.
I think the cottage is so small. Like, in order for me to even sleep on the floor, I have to like be under the table.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Sorry, go ahead.
Good. So I look at Oliver. I'm like, now tell me, what type of person would come here to pick you up, of all people?
I think you see a flash of anger in Oliver's eyes for a moment. And then he sort of sighs out and says and breathes, a rich one.
Because that is, you should move first and then split.
So, are you saying this is a business partnership?
Anyway.
No, it's a life choice.
No, because you didn't.
So it's not about the money,
right? You just did your normal support action. So you
it's
didn't
about,
actually take your own part.
How I can make my way in this world.
So yeah, I think you're in there.
Just like you did 2 years ago. You chose
well,
to
it's
leave.
one. Yeah. Well, it's one way to make your way in this world. And as you can see from this, my way, I'm still in the same place. Just a little more hated.
And Oliver's sort of like, what would you do in my position?
Well, Oliver, I don't know what I would do in your position, but just let it be known that there were debts, and I know. But Catherine doesn't know. Mama doesn't know. But just remember, I know there were debts.
Let's see this interaction.
I think Oliver sort of puts a hand out to you, sort of, and says, "Yes, I know. I've thought about it a long time, and this is. I think he lowers his voice because his mother's in the room, and she's obviously like, but she's like on the other side for a moment, and I think he leans in and says, "This is my way of squaring us up. You can come with me, you know."
As long as we understand what I'm in this for.
What are you in this for?
Repayment.
Just the repayment. Then come. Help me out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be a problem. We could get out of here. Elizabeth's out there. We can handle Elizabeth. No problem.
Yeah, and I think Oliver starts nodding eagerly. Cool. Let's cut back and see how we're going on the beach. So the boat pulls in. It's a little choppy and unsteady, but you're close enough now to get out. Who's leading the way out? Who's getting up?
Well, I hop out to help push the boat up on shore, and then pass by poor Christopher, who's probably still trying to figure out how to ship the oars, and stride up. They don't have a fire or anything lit, do they?
I think you see the smolders of, like, the embers of a fire that was lit earlier in the day, but it was a hot and roaring fire, so there's quite a bit of embers there. And they probably got some, like flatbreads and half spilled mugs of drink around it.
'Tis a cold and black night to be sitting on the beach without a fire. It reminds me that you are perhaps not expecting company, or expecting it but hoping that they would not notice you.
Right.
I think one of the big guys shrugs, and Elizabeth sort of tries to push back on the other one who's a little bit rowdy.
Yeah, totally.
And she says, "We thought about it. The surprise, the gunfire, but it is not polite, I think, to kick someone off your land so unceremoniously. So we're here to say, please leave. Please leave us alone. Please leave Oliver alone."
From where I am standing, Oliver is a free gentleman of age, may come and go as he please.
And Elizabeth shrugs. "No one here is free to go where they please. Not unless you have a big sloop. Not unless you've got the means by which to leave whenever you like."
Oh, you think the sloop is freedom? The sloop is not freedom. The lives of 16 men of my regular crew and their entire families hang upon the decisions I make on that boat. Life and death can hang there. We buried a man at sea not 3 weeks ago. Don't tell me that it's freedom. It's his responsibility, and you should learn it.
Ooh, I like it. So you're a captain, right?
I am a captain.
You have a captain-y movie theme.
I do have a captain move. My reputation precedes me, is what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I guess they're not that important.
Hmm?
I was just thinking because it's they've heard of you and you say, oh, okay, yeah, no, it works in this case. Yeah, so as you're talking about your ship and your life, I think that's when you roll plus balance, and I will tell you what they've heard of you or something bad happens.
Of course. Hold on a sec. That's a 14.
14. Yeah, so they obviously know of you as the person who evicted them from their farms, or you know, they know what family you come from. What else have they heard about you, especially as it relates to you being captain on the ship?
I think at least some of them probably know of families that have members of my crew who were from the evicted families, because I tried to give them a place if I could, and if I couldn't, I looked for other people to take them.
But
We can use that to move forward to the finish line.
I think one of the drug dudes who's by that water sort of like looks over at the sloop and at you and says, and Carson says, "Oh, how's me brother going?"
He bites well, he learns well. I'm rating him able next week when we get our pay.
And he sort of nods. And is sort of sated. And that makes the other two uncomfortable, I think. And Elizabeth sort of elbows them.
'Tis too cold a night to not have a wee dram for your guests, I think.
And Elizabeth's
Christopher,
like,
come up. Stop being such a wallflower. The ball's about to begin.
sit
And
down.
like
Yeah.
shouting from the shoreline or something.
Yeah.
I fear if I were to step too close to people keeping olive from me, I would not be able to control myself.
I think we'll risk it, brother mine. I think we'll all feel quite safe.
All right, but
I
I need you to hold me back should I lose control of my own devices.
I shall attempt such a Sisyphean task, but
I probably wander up looking like the least threatening person in the world, like the boots and the hem of my pants wet from climbing out of the boat at the shore, and just like unthreatening and non-violent.
And I think it is for that reason. They sort of look at each other, shrug, and then like gesture towards the campfire, right? And I think we can cut forward a little bit because there's this quiet moment of like, it's still tense and no one's particularly happy, but someone's relighting the fire and everyone's sort of busying themselves with picking stuff up around the camp and sitting down. What do you want to do? I guess like what's the plan here? What's Christopher's plan?
Just realized that my character was Christopher. The plan is, I think like in the quiet moment, the plan is to blurt out openly and without pretense. Quit stalling. The night slips away from us. I expected to find Oliver here. Where is he? Why do you keep him from us? And like really confrontational, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so you do say that? That was the plan,
I mean, yeah. I'm not running a high amount of self-control at the moment.
Do you think that's like you trying to intimidate another?
Take your time.
Yeah, Defs. Sure, that sounds perfect.
I mean, I'm not sure you're the most intimidating, but that's.
I was gonna look for the rules, but then I realized it was PBTA, so I'm just gonna roll 2d6, and you can tell me what happens. Reroll selected.
It's a flat roll.
And oh, it's flat. I don't even get to stat it.
Well, you have a 0 stat. That's
well,
why.
there you go. 8. I got a 7 to 9. Please complicate my existence.
I think that they say. Look.
I'm so invested in the scene.
You want Oliver here, and then Oliver wants to be here too, is what they say. Oliver wants to be here too. But, mate, that's just not the way things shake out sometimes. We need Oliver more than you do. There's not much of us here on this island. Look at the meager stuff we have here. We're sharing this with you. It takes a lot of manpower to eke out a living on this barren rock.
Your leverage toward my sympathy is misguided. To get to be with Oliver, I would take this island from you. I would sink it to the bottom of this horrible sea. I would rip your immortal souls from your bones, and I would cast you out into hell itself.
Oh.
That's some fine poetry, brother mine. Is that Byron?
It's like a spit into the fire, and it sizzles. It's like, Byron was a gentle fool compared to the things I would do to these people.
Ooh, yeah, let's escalate that situation. I think they're well and rowdy now. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you don't talk to our family like that. If your breeches are itching for a fight so bad, let's have at it then."
Catherine, is this an excellent time to push you in and be like, yeah, my family's got my back too. Family versus family. Go, get him.
I think I stand up slowly. I put down the cup that I've been drinking from. I just look around at everyone like, well, no. It seems to me that if we're going to be getting down to the ball, then we ought to be very clear about who's going to be paying the musicians. My family's done your family an injury, I know it. But shall we not compound it with blood? So far it's but silver, and the king's silver at that.
This you owe us more than money. You owe us blood. Our father never made it after the evictions. And I think this is where, coming in from the distance, Oliver and Jacob, you are far enough away, and you're sort of seeing, you're walking down from the house. How did you deal with your mother, Agnes?
I think in order to calm her nerves, I convinced her to have a little nip of rum, and waited for her to rest her head down on the table, and we just walked out.
Ooh, okay. So I sort of jumped the gun here because now that you said that, I want you to roll and manipulate another for this.
Okay.
Because your mother despises you, right? I'm not sure
Yes.
that she's particularly willing to listen. However, it has been a very stressful night.
I roll. That's a 9. What stat am I rolling?
Plus beauty.
Beauty 0, so it's a 9.
So it's a 9. Yeah. So she says, a dram would do me good this night. It'd be the last of this bottle from before we left. And I think she says, but if you tell me, here, relax, mother, sit, relax, mother, enjoy yourself, mother, then I give you the burden of this evening to shoulder. And she hands you something cold and metallic into the palm of your hand. It's a small
Nice.
pistol.
Well,
You're not even
it's
sure
enough.
why she has this.
I would ask her.
Unless you want to
What
bring to
what would you
light
have him
the
be?
contest, otherwise I'm
Just-
gonna-
Watch over our family and do not betray us. Not again. This is your last chance.
Yeah. So let's have.
I'll do what I will,
let's
mother.
see Toulouse. Let's see Toulouse.
You always do what
But-
you will.
Blaze of glory,
But
quiet
I
and-
promise you, it will be for the family.
I think she resigns herself to her. She's not going to be able to fight you off. She's not going to shoot you. I think so. She sits down and takes a drink. And so then you walk down and you see, as on your walk, it's a quite a dark night. There's a couple of stars, but the moon isn't particularly bright or out. And a fire starts up, and you can see the smoke rising from the beach. And as you draw closer, you can see the figures sitting around the campfire.
I think this is like the first time I find out who is picking up Oliver. I think
Yes.
nobody ever told me like exactly what was going on. I just knew a lover was coming to get Oliver,
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and this lover is rich. So like I think as soon as I see them, Morag and Christopher there, like I grab Oliver and I like push him up against an outcropping, and I'm like, McLaughlin's, bloody McLaughlin's are here to get you.
I'll kindly ask you to take your hands off my brother, Jacob Rollins.
Not your brother.
No, not.
Oh, Oliver, right.
Oliver. Yeah. Not
Okay,
yet,
then
not yet.
I can't see this. Let's rewind this.
We can do that later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll get into this later. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
it'll probably happen.
So yeah, Oliver's there with like a spruce wood in his shoulder, and he just looks kind of guilty, kind of embarrassed, right? Like he didn't tell you for a reason. He told you that this was happening, but he didn't tell you because he wasn't ready to have this. And he sort of sighs and says, "They have their own what was taken from us."
Yeah, but they're not going to give it back. Just because you're going to marry into their family, put us on this bloody rock to start with.
You don't know that. He truly loves me.
Right. I should have left you up top with Mama. If I'd have known it was the McLaughlins, I would have just come down here with Elizabeth myself.
You were the one who said you were here to be repaid. Money is money.
Not McLaughlin money.
Yeah, I think Oliver's like, get off me.
No.
You
I want you to promise me that you will make what's right right.
Yeah, intimidate that Oliver. That naive boy.
All right. Reroll. That's a 7, and is that brawn?
Yeah,
it's Braun.
it is Braun.
That's 8. Either way.
8. And what is it that you want? What is it you want me to do then? If I asked you earlier, what would you do in my position? I ask you again, what would you do in my stead?
In your stead, I would not fall in love with a Mclaughlin. So here's what I'll have you do. You can go with your love, but I will not leave you with your love until I am given my repayment.
And I think, yeah, so Oliver breaks out of your grip like quite violently and says, well, if that's what you want, let's talk to them.
Yeah. I want to hear what you have to say about this in front of Elizabeth. And hope she doesn't toss you into the sea. So yeah, I think I kind of like push him in front of me and we start walking over.
Yeah. Oliver says something a bit pass ag, like, you mean my soon-to-be sister-in-law? Kicks a rock. Cool. So let's cut back to the other scene, and at any point, so let's have it like Kat, you can start with Morag, and if you'll whenever you want to like you're ready for the confrontation that's gonna come, we will introduce that into the scene.
So let's see. When we last left off, I was intimidating people,
Yes.
more or less, by my
that's
quiet
true.
and calm presence.
You can straight out roll for that intimidation if that's where you want to start it. That would work too.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Let's just see what happens. Wait, let me roll those. That's a 9. That's not so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's okay. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right. So, remind me. So, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to intimidate?
They look like they're about to spoil for a fight, and I want them to back down. Like, this is going to cost way more than you're willing to spend. So,
Are you sure you don't want to just escalate it? Are you sure?
yes, I figured that's what I brought you here for.
Yep. I think that they're going to get out of your way for now. And Elizabeth, being the sort of even-keeled one over the bunch, or rather, person who drank least that evening, sort of says, "No, you're right. We ain't going to put our necks on the line. Not right. Not when there's someone much, much more willing." And I think this is where you hear the boots, the scuffling behind them. And I think Elizabeth has noticed the arrival of Jacob. And I think says, I think she waves Jacob over it and says, well, I say our party has gotten a little bit more heated.
You know what?
Yeah, as I'm walking up, I'm like, I guess I can like just sense the tension between the two. Perhaps it's kind of like a stare off, and I'm just like,
yeah. And I think even some of the other guys have their hands sort of near their weapons.
So yeah, I'll probably be like, all right. Cool your heads.
Well, now you must definitely be hard up if you've brought such a scunner as Jacob Rollins down to be on your side. How about you, Jacob?
And Jacob's just like, Morag. And then turns to look over at Christopher. And doesn't say Christopher, just says Mclaughlin. Look, I brought your little precious cargo.
Mm. And Oliver steps out of the shadows behind Jacob.
I look at Oliver. I look at Christopher. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. What do you? I mean, what does Christopher feel? And as we sort of see Oliver come into the picture.
It's like the saturation on the scene is turned up. Instead of being this dark scene, like lit by the glow of embers and the rage in people's eyes, everything is just bright. And I think everything else is muted. It's that sound when you're underwater and like you can hear the waves rolling, but nothing else. And it's just that with like his the sound of his heartbeat in his ears racing. And I think like there's very much that desire to just break across this clearing to like run to Oliver, but the situation feels really a lot like a battlefield, like a pitched battle at the moment, and I think that stops him from breaking across that geographical boundary.
Yeah, it's super tense. And Oliver, I think, walks over and stands next to Elizabeth. And sort of looks from Jacob to Christopher. And his eyes flick over Morag and back again to Jacob and says, "So, do you want to propose the terms, or shall I?"
Sure. Just so we can get this over with. I will be accompanying Oliver. And must be promised safe passage back home.
Are you to be given away, Jan Oliver, then? Or are you merely his protection? Oh, his best man. Oliver, lad, you could do better. I've got 3 men on my ship that could be better best men. I've got 2 sisters back home.
I look over at Elizabeth and, like, under my breath, I'm like, McLaughlin's.
Yeah, and I think Elizabeth is seething, right? Like Elizabeth's like, they've treated us badly and they're cocky as all heck.
If you wanted to intimidate me, you'd bring Elizabeth. There's a wench that I'd be afeared of.
This isn't about intimidation. This is about what's right.
And Oliver, I think Oliver appeals to Christopher at this point, right? Says something like, you know, it's an easy ask, right, Oliver? Sorry, right, Christopher? We take my cousin Jacob too.
Oliver, I feel like a lot of people are speaking for you in this conversation. Is this what you want?
Yeah. Are you testing if your love is true?
I gotta.
You gotta? Yeah.
I'm rolling plus beyond.
Yes.
The joy is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm going to do some fictional positioning here. I feel this is Oliver sort of like fixes his cute little spectacles and kind of like glances over where everyone else is. And it's like they're a bit close. So Oliver steps aside, like, takes a couple of steps over with you.
Oh man.
To sort of get, as much little privacy as you can.
I want to swipe right on Oliver so hard right now. All right, let's see how we go. I did take a -1 in this stat because I do want to tank it. And I got a 6.
Thickest is well, I mean, I guess people can help or hinder.
I mean, people are
Not really.
welcome to help or hinder. I'm okay with any result on this move. So for people on a miss, my love holds a secret in their heart that will hurt me. And on a 7 to 9, if someone would like to help, my love is true, but nothing in this life is simple. And my love will be tainted by strange desires or swallowed by regrets. I love this game so much.
How on earth can you ask us to avoid a 6 result like that?
I know, right? Give onto me a secret that will hurt me, please. Okay?
Yeah. I think you hear some of it now, but the full effects of it hits you a bit later. Because Oliver pulls you aside. Fortunately, the wind picks up a little bit at this stage, and you're able to sort of speak into the wind away from everyone a little bit. And Oliver says, please, I love you, but it's my family, it's the money. You understand?
Money. Oliver, this is about love. It's pure. It's money should not enter into this.
And then he looks angry at you and says, money. It's my family.
Oh yeah, I want to be like super textual about this too. This
Yeah.
is someone who comes from a position of privilege saying like
Yeah.
money isn't important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Oliver, we don't need money. All we need is each other.
And he sort of like says, yeah, I need you. I need you now. I can get away here with you now, but you should do something about this. My Jacob, all he wants is to be repaid his dues. I know you, and he just looks over at the sleeve. I know there's a strong box in there. You've bought me many a pretty thing from there before. Help me provide for my family. And I'll go with you this night.
Well, if that's what it takes for us to be together, we'll give them everything. I'll cast out every dollar that I have upon that ship, or every pound that I have upon that ship. I will throw it into the sea. I will scatter it to the wind. I will hand it to your family myself, whatever it takes.
Yeah,
just let's go now.
And then Oliver kisses you and says, do it now first. Do it now here. And I will, I guess he says some, I don't have a good way of saying this. Hold on. Like, let me take the place of the weight of their gold off that sloop. I will trade places with that.
Oh, that's so good. I love like Oliver's weight in gold. That's crazy.
Yeah. Probably not pure gold, but we get the idea.
Yeah. And then oh man, that'd be great. Like it's and then I'll speak for Oliver because apparently I'm the West as well. I like take his hand in mine and I like announce to the group. I like it is decided. We're going to leave now. We'll depart, Jacob bringing you with us. And once upon the ship, you will receive your payment. More more gold than you could have expected. And like just over promising this stuff. Probably not even looking at Morag, just like, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look over at Elizabeth and I'm like,
Yeah.
I give her that look like, yeah, you see what I did?
Yeah. And I think you also, yeah.
Yeah.
She looks flabbergasted, obviously. How does Morag react?
Brother mine, may I speak a moment with you as we plan this blessed event?
Definitely, and I bring Oliver with me to over to you.
I'm not in the habit of paying out dowries on sea marriages.
Wow, I thought there was going to be like some subtlety with Oliver there. He's like, no.
No.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yep.
Please, this is about so much more than money. We can.
I don't mind if you sew your handbags together. It's your own business, but you're not going to be promising the wealth of our kin on this.
Oh, you could plunder and trade, and you will make the money back. There's
many a plunder that's been taken in bed, and on the sea it's far harder.
Oh, this needs to be some sort of role, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Jacob's like, trust me, she's plundered. Look where we live.
Oh, poor Jacob. Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to be. You've got a pull rank move or something, don't you, as the captain? Is that something you'd like to do? I don't know, man. I don't know how these game works anymore.
I'm thinking.
You get to.
There's rules and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the captain had a pull rank move.
Oh, we
Nope.
didn't go through all of the kin stuff. Actually, I totally forgot about that.
Oh, there is the kin thing. That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
this could be.
yes.
This
Okay.
is okay. This is an interesting time to delve into that because I
Yeah.
think this is where we find out about the Mclaughlin's.
Yeah.
What is
absolutely.
what do they prize above all else? What do they hate or fear? What are their weaknesses and what are their strengths?
I think. Yep, I think this is going to be a balance role because I think what the Mclaughlin's are known above all else is to maintain their position. That's, why we kicked off an entire village off our land.
Yeah.
I might have been against it, but the family decided, and that's that. And this does not feel like an equal trade, even though, yes, there's all the whole family history, but that's not what's that question here. So I think I will roll plus balance and see what I get. An 8. Oh, my family's complicated.
It's never that easy. So you can choose. So on a success, you choose 2 of those options, and you also choose one of those drawbacks.
Oh, they're all so good.
It's such an appropriate move as well to roll between you and your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I think it's got to be Cloud of my kin. Yep. And can I reveal the weakness?
Yes. Yeah. You can reveal the weakness. You actually get to pick 2 of those. So if you want the clout and something else.
Oh, that's right. I get to choose 2.
Mhm.
Cool. I'll definitely want to ask you about the beliefs. I'm going to take clout, and the weakness I'll just reveal right now in conversation. I grab Christopher, pull him aside closer to the surf so that the water is lapping our feet, and I'm like, Christopher, brother mine, do you think Father would have kicked off the entire village if we had gold to spare? We're rich in land and rich in sheep, but not rich in coin.
It's so perfect.
Oh no.
This whole deal is hinging upon the fact that we're rich. I love it.
On the Maggie is the payroll for my crew and the expenses to keep up the ship. 'Tis no fair easy thing to pay, with hempen rope and good cotton sails, and then there's cannon polish. I mean, the list just grows and grows every day. It's, you know what they say, you don't own a sloop, you own a hole in the water that you pour coin in.
And Oliver's sort of like looking at, like checking if you're okay. How does Christopher react?
Oh man.
So the clat
Like-
and yeah. So hold on. So we've got the clat and the knowledge. Do we
Yeah, I think that we didn't get to
find them
believe
enough? Yeah.
whatever it was.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, beliefs about a situation, place, or person. Yeah.
Yeah. So what beliefs did you have in like? Let's ask
I
you.
have a thought.
Mhm.
So actually, a quick question about where we are historically. Are we playing with under the set of rules that like that this marriage would be a sanctioned marriage, or are we playing with it's sanctioned but not societally sanctioned, or how's that working?
Yeah. Good.
Or like
good
legally
question.
sanctioned? Yeah, I think I let Sid decide that because
Yes. Because
that-
we don't have to play historically in this
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah, I wasn't pursuing the relationship in like the aim of leaning into that, but if you've got like a fun complication
Well,
that's going to come out of that, I'm super okay with it. But I'm also
I'm
okay for us
thinking,
just to be like,
a sailing family like ours would accept a sea marriage between
yes,
it happens all the time. Well, okay. So it's not like there's going to be a creation of a family bond between us and the Rollins, but there will be because you're our kin, and
oh, yep, absolutely.
this is the offer I make to you.
I'm really interested in that too because like I'm not a fan of the sea. I imagine that like my dream was never to get married at sea, right? I wanted to get married like on land where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's such a perfect like compromise to offer me.
Listen to me, brother mine. You're a reasonably active person, and Oliver's a fine fit. The point is that I'm still friends with Captain Mclaughlin, with Captain McWhorter, who is now a captain in the Honorable East India Company. I can have the two of you on board an Indiaman, setting sail out of Cork within this week. You two can run off and make your fortune in India. Plenty of people have done it. It's a good place for it. I mean, maybe you'll even work for the India Company. I mean, the requirements are basically drunkenness and malaria, so catch malaria and I think you've got it.
Yeah, that's so perfect. And Christopher's like eyes sparkle a little bit at this this like dream, and it's traveling somewhere far away and exotic and all the things that he could learn and study and to be there with Oliver. And I certainly, I don't know if our family is affectionate, but I don't get the feeling that you are specifically. Is that a correct read?
I think not in public because she's so used to holding back her fiery nature under the control of being a captain that she's not given to affectionate display.
Right. So I guess with Kinsmen, I throw my arms around you and like lean my whole body weight on you, kissing you fiercely on the cheek, and hey, thank you.
Aye. It's the greatest romance since Tamlin. Now let's be off already. I'll have to decide what to do with Jan Jacob.
Rocks to the ankles, over the side.
Yeah, right. I mean, does Jacob?
Aye, but when one has to work one's way up to that.
Does Jacob expect just a position on the ship or any sort of payment?
No, Jacob is expecting payment
Yeah,
in
that's what I
some
thought
way,
too.
whether it be
Perfect.
coin or barter or whatever.
Yeah. Perfect. So, as we're heading up, do we want to sort of start cutting to getting towards the sloop? Then is that the
Yeah, I feel pretty resolved here.
Yes, I just want to do one last moment. Sid, I promised you that wasn't the end of your test of your love is true. Because that hurt, but not enough. And I think it's basically as everyone's sort of deciding to set off. Elizabeth and the two other Elizabeth Kinsmen, like sort of packing up, and Oliver goes back to sort of say farewell to Elizabeth specifically, because they're intended for each other, and I think there's like a moment of genuine connection there, and there, like there is a private moment, and Oliver's says, "I'll always love you," and takes, like you said, like takes something from his person, hands it over to Elizabeth, presses it deep into her hand, and looks around when no one's looking. I think they share a quick kiss, and then they pull away, and off everyone goes. So I think it's time, and it's another hour, so we're going to take another 5-minute break. And when we come back, we will be upholding or breaking promises aboard the ship. However, it is going to be aboard the ship. So the numbers game has just swinged wildly in favor of the Mclaughlin's. So let's be back 6 past, and we will continue on.
Pat, feel free to, if you got any like wishes for your character, to hit me up in chat or whatever,
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
I definitely want to like play into Jacob a bit. So
I think the second half there's going to be a good chunk of Jacob. That's my wish as well. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Jacob's going to end up the tragic character, but we'll see.
Yeah, have a think, because I didn't want to like just throw a act under pressure for you to not lose control or something like that. So yeah, and we'll
All right.
get back
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. See you.
V, we're playing the best game. It's so good.
We are playing the most, alas. Many
So-
family, many money issues.
Oh yes, the most alas for the most awful of the seas.
Yeah. And it's about to get more awful.
I
Put some
have a
luck in
question
it.
real quick.
Yes.
So would me going off alone, would that trigger the outcast move?
Absolutely, it would.
Oh, you're so good at games, Pat.
Yes, do it. So the outcast move. Better
Yes.
off alone. When you reject
Roll.
the help of others and enter danger alone, roll plus brawn.
All right, let's see how these shenanigans start out.
Yes, definitely. There's some
Not
really-
well. That is a 4.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. That is how this starts then. Now you know your hubris gets you into ongoing trouble you can't get out of by yourself. I think that's what happens when you decide to go onto someone else's sloop that's full of their crew.
Nah, I got it.
So I'll have the captain of the ship set the scene of what the ship is like as they board, and then I think Pat, tell me how your how how your hubris is expressed, and I will bring you the trouble.
Do you want me to do it
Yes.
now, or you want me to wait until?
So yeah. So after we have Morag's description of what the deck is like.
Well, that actually may help.
Description.
So yeah, we row up, we climb aboard, and I immediately start shouting orders. Weigh anchor, cut the cable if you blasted have to. I run up to the helm and like, south by southeast and a half south. Let on all sail that shall hold. And I turn to Chris and Oliver and sweep off my hat and say, they're not much for a honeymoon suite, but you can take my cabin. Then finally I turn to Jacob Rollins. Jacob Rollins, do you know anything about nautical life? Can you sail? Are you able?
I'm able. And I
Yeah.
kind of pull back my collar to show the signs of the tattoo that you should recognize as from the Southern Oceans.
We run a slightly tighter boat here than you'll find in a Malay pirate boat, but be that as it may, get thee up into the rigging.
Sure thing, Captain.
Before you go, we sail for Cork. Are you willing to give us a couple of weeks of your life?
Yes. For what I am promised, I'm willing to give you at least a couple weeks.
Jacob Rollins, this is a ship. It's my ship. The man that comes aboard here leaves his history on the shore. You do well these 2 weeks, and you not turn your face against me. Then maybe I'll find a place for you on my crew. Does that strike you as a fair deal?
I'll pull my weight.
That is not the question I asked. If you don't pull your weight, I'll have you flogged.
I will pull my weight, Captain.
Hard-hearted Rollins.
Yes. So good. I don't need to add very much except to say that we are going to travel to Cork now. That is now part of this scenario. This is the most the biggest version of this, which is
So,
awesome.
just real quick, just for a little flavor here to show where the hubris came from, that I was doing this by myself. I imagine that I started to get up on the rigging, and unbeknownst to the rest was Elizabeth and the 2 men had their own little skiff, and they kind of slowly followed us out. But as I climbed up on the rigging, I knew kind of where they were at, and I waved them off.
Yeah, right. And I think there's that dual moment of they know they're not needed and they know they've lost you to the Mclaughlins, right?
Right.
Two in the stroke in one fell swoop. So I think their faces fall and they turn around. Yeah, so I think Oliver and sort of goes to you, Jacob, before for going anywhere else, and he says, "So we're really doing it. Where is the gold they promised us?"
You tell me.
I will ask this evening. Keep that close at hand. And I think Oliver gestures towards the pistol concealed on your person somewhere.
Yes. And I'm like, I kind of pull Oliver close to me,
Mhm.
and I'm like, look, whatever you can get. It doesn't have to be coin. We'll take head of livestock. We'll take non-perishables. We'll take anything we could sell, so that we can feed our family, right?
Yeah, we will.
All right. I kind of tussle his hair a little bit.
It's like too old for that now. But he gives you a big hug.
For family.
Yeah, for family. And they turn around. So many interesting scenes I want on this boat. I want to see the captain and Jacob. I want to see Oliver and Christopher. Why don't you guys propose some for me? Which ones do you guys want to see first? Also good.
I kind of want to see how the captain and Oliver interact when they're alone.
Yeah, cool.
That's so good.
I'm trying not to get attacked by my cat. Yes, okay, you're vicious. Willow, you are parked exactly where I cannot see anything. Thank you. Hold on a sec. There you go. I defeated her, but now I'm just not looking at the camera. Cool.
Good enough.
Sure, let's do this thing.
So where do you go to get some privacy on this ship?
Well, clearly not my cabin anymore. But I think at some point I probably have to, because that's where I keep the charts and my sextant, and it's where the chronometer is. There's actually quite a lot of stuff that's vital to the running of the ship that's located in my cabin. So at some point when Christopher is maybe, I was going to say up on deck taking the air, but he's up on deck puking over the sides, probably because of the seasickness. He's always like that the first day out. Then it gets worse. Then it gets better for a while. I guess Oliver can be there while I come down to pull out my charts.
Wait, did Pat say Oliver and the captain or Christopher and the captain?
Oliver.
Oh, Oliver? Okay, cool. Sorry, I just had a moment where I mixed them up. Yeah, so I think Oliver's when you walk in, Oliver is totally looking over, grabbing something, maybe it's your charts. And there's obviously he's gone and looked at what's valuable in this room, and so as you walk in, he's looking at a chart, and he's like, "Oh, Christopher. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Find you anything interesting, brother of mine?"
Oh, and I think he says, "A few things, sister."
Well, that there is a chart of the waters off of Plymouth. and so probably not very useful to you as either reading material. I'd thank you kindly not to invent other uses for it. Not necessarily in this voyage, but there'll be others after you are fair on your way.
I think it will be useful enough someday for you in your travels. May the
It's
wind,
quite useful.
yeah, may the wind take your sails far, far away.
Oh, the native poetry that my brother told me about.
I'm sorry, am I in your way?
Yes, but I was being polite about it.
Well, no need to be polite about it. We've all laid our cards on the table.
Are you eager to get to Calcutta or Bombay or where do you think you'll be landed upon in India? I hear Ceylon is quite lovely,
And
except for the monsoons, but they're endemic to the area. So.
Oliver looks a bit serious and says, I think there was some miscommunication. Christopher is imprecise. And I think there were many things said about India. And I would go and take your brother away. If indeed we get our payment or our land back.
Well, now, I would say that it's a mercenary thing, but in my experience, much of love is. Certainly there's many a young lad that father had come by before he saw that I was more fit to captain his ships than any of his sons. So love be a mercenary thing, but you are not negotiating from a position of strength, young Mr. Oliver. For any man spoke that way unto me, who was not beloved of my brother, I would have more than words. Ye twain shall be on an Indiaman, bound for Lucknow, or other parts to the east, bides me not where. Or I'll be taking my brother home, alone, bereft, mourning.
And boy, a great morning it shall be. Your shoulders would be soaked with tears. Enough. I will leave you here with your maps. And I think he unfurls one that he was clearly looking at before, which is of the southern farms of your father's land. And I think he takes a kelp knife, a tiny little kelp knife that he had, and puts it through, marking the location of his forebears.
Does that make thou feel a great man, Oliver?
It makes me feel a moral one.
Had your father and you, had my father and you swapped places, you, of course, would not have put off any man, right? You, of course, would have sat by and watched the value of all that you had worked for 20 generations sink into the peat. That's what you would have done? Would you?
I would have waited at least until we could have harvested our crops. They were still in the ground. We had nothing when we left.
Aye, my father was intemperate. For those that counseled against it. If families stick together, you should know that if you're going to marry a Mclaughlin.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see where your brother sticks. And then I think it works out. Slams the door.
There was daggers flying all over that cabin.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I think we can skip past the scene, but essentially, Oliver definitely tells Jacob all of his gripes and the shrinking, like, you know, something like the Mclaughlin's will lie and lie through their teeth and then lie once more.
Yeah, and I think I probably tell Oliver, I'm like, look, we're in this now. So, for good or ill, we need to get what our family is due. Even if it costs us ultimately.
And Oliver lowers his tone conspiratorially. I think we got in over our heads here, and I apologize for that. But here we are on a fine ship. There is a rowboat hitched over the side. It is another moonless night tomorrow.
Will we be able to... Have you found anything of value we'll be able to take with us?
Only what's in the captain's cabins.
Might be able to get some...
Yeah. I know there's a strong box somewhere. You can try to get that.
Yeah, we need to see if we could find that. We could perhaps take some smalls from the galley to at least feed us until we could get to shore, and I can hunt something when we get to shore. But I mean, this is it. Like it's now or never, because we can't get further out to sea.
Yeah. So, Sid, does Oliver know where the strongbox is from previous interactions with Christopher?
Yeah, it sounds like he's super like he's running subterfuge on this, and I reckon if he'd asked, I would have just told him, like, because I wouldn't have suspected he would ever do anything
like this
to hurt me. Yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. Cool. So I think that's what we're going to run with in terms of the Oliver Jacob plan. Kat, do you want a particular scene with, like I saw in there with you and Christopher? The evening of, maybe, or that day?
Yeah, let's. I call you up to the main top, which, you know, is not that high on this ship. It's barely enough that you can sit on the cross trees, but
And
I make you crawl up there.
yeah,
Brother mine, you should see this. You should see this.
and I think like with the puking before at the waterline, now that we're up higher and there's more roll to the ship, like it's just I feel almost unable to continue, and I'm like standing up there looking up at the sky, trying not to like catch the horizon and it shift. Yeah, I can see it. It's it truly is a wonderful sight.
Christopher Mclaughlin, sunset over the Irish Sea is not something to be regarded lightly, especially not for a poetically minded bloke like you.
I don't understand why we couldn't have had this conversation somewhere more secure. I feel as if I'm about to be thrown into the sea at any moment.
Hey, it's funny that you should bring that subject up. Your Oliver is an impertinent man, I think.
Speak carefully about family.
That would have been my advice to him had he stayed and listened a wee bit longer. He trades overmuch on your love and our family's injury to his.
He's a kind boy and naive. Are you sure you're not placing motives on him that are not at home?
I said to Jacob Rollins, I say to you, whatever troubles ye have, we left them on the shore. On this boat, there's a god in his heaven and a goddess on this earth, and I am she.
So why call me up to the main top to speak conspiratorially? Why could this not be a conversation we had with Oliver?
If I speak to Oliver again without some assurance that he'll bite a tongue that's more civil than he's been wont to give me, then I shall not speak long with him. Lover thee or not, I am captain aboard this ship and its master, and I will not be talked that way in my own cabin by some impertinent cotter's child.
Do not make threats upon me, Morag. I am not some able seaman to be directed about by a captain. I am your brother and a man of my own drive.
And what will drive you? I thought you had great ideas of going to Varanasi and seeing the Ganges, but now I understand from Oliver that there may be changes in this schedule.
Do not try to pit my lover against me. If you do not make me choose between the family I had and the family I will have.
Sid, I think you're going to make a sacrifice for love here. Yes, it sounds like you're sacrificing your bonds with your.
Yeah, I think we're probably getting pretty close. Let's see
Sacrificing
how that goes.
feelings of love.
All right, I'll roll some beauty. I feel quite beautiful. I feel 0 beauty. Oh, God, I'm loving this. I got a 4. This is the best. I am gonna end up drowning in the sea. This is choose one success anyway. Okay, what's my success?
So yes, Sid, you pick one of the success options anyway, and then I will choose 1 or 2 of the 7 to 9 bad effects.
Do you think that that causing my enemy to doubt their actions is valid here? Do you think that if I
I think definitely. I think I'm seeing how close I am to losing you.
Yes, and that's like the real threat here, right? Yeah, and I think to put a marker on that, like I leave. Like, this is the thing. Do not make me choose between you and him, and then I walk away from you.
Yeah, I think that the miss effects is that I want you escalate the situation, and not only do you say that is, do not make me choose and you even go as far as to say because I will choose him.
Oh yeah, perfect.
And then that's also that leads to the you expose yourself to hatred or judgment.
Yep. Okay. I think the line is like, we've said before that blood is thicker than water, and you know how much I hate the sea.
Get thee in my cabin and out of my sight.
Oh God, my heart is hurting.
Everything is so tense.
I just wanted to fall in love and be happy.
Nothing is ever that easy. Cool. I think in stark distinction, we're going to go into a more action-oriented scene, led by Jacob. I think this is the operation, and Oliver will sort of do anything that you ask of him, but I'm gonna leave it in your capable hands, Jacob.
Okay. Did we locate the strongbox or no? Not yet.
No. Yes. So Oliver knows the location of the strongbox from asking Christopher a while back. So actually knows where it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to have Oliver go get the strongbox. And although I said that I was going to go get some supplies from the larder, I figured it was probably best worth my time if I could get some assurance that we'll be able to get away from this. So I'm going after Christopher.
Ah, okay. You're going to take Christopher.
Yes.
Ooh,
I'm going,
I like it.
I'm going to take Christopher.
I love it.
Perfect. I am not the bargaining chip you think I am.
You're a McLaughlin. That's all I need to know.
Mm. So yeah, so what's your plan? How do you jump Christopher?
I think like this is like at night, right? So
Yes, yeah.
pretty much all that's on deck is like the bare minimum, the night watch and all that. So I think Oliver like lets me into the captain's quarters, and like Oliver sneaks out to go get that strong box, and I like quietly walk up to Christopher and I press that pistol right into his cheek.
Yeah. I mean, so is this a sneaking up sort of situation
Um
or intimidating?
I think it's more of an intimidation because I'm trying to wake him up with the pistol.
Yeah.
in his
I'm
cheek.
just trying to decide whether it's interesting enough to roll your acting under pressure for the sneaking up, or Sid, if you just want that to happen and we can just move straight into the more interesting.
I'm more than happy to move straight in.
Yep.
I
So,
think
yeah,
even if I
all
were to
just
know that he was there, I am certainly not in a position to change anything.
Yeah, so there's a cold barrel of a gun right in your face, which is a rude thing to wake up to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's have what do you guys say, and then we can roll the intimidate.
So yeah, I press it into Christopher's cheek, and I'm just like, "Do you try to speak?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like yeah. How much would I get out? Like a word? I could probably just say your name, right? Like Jacob, what you? And then
Right. So yeah, I would like cover your mouth
perfect.
with my other hand, and then I'll say, "I'm gonna let my hand go, but listen, if you truly want to be with Oliver, we're leaving tonight."
Oof.
And I slowly lift my hand off.
Yeah, just silence. The eyes narrow.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say?
Why?
Because we truly don't believe that India is the answer for you two. And do you think your sister is ever going to allow you any traction in your family? But I'll give you a choice. You can come willingly, or I can take you.
And that's almost like a manipulate. That's yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Manipulating, intimidating, whatever you want to do.
All right.
I need some dice to
it'll
make the
be-
decision.
Oh, it's terrible. It's a 3.
Yes.
Yeah. So
What do I get to do? 3.
you can respond however you wish, Sid.
Yeah.
But you hear the unmistakable clack of your sister's boots nearby.
Boy.
You can tell from the way the set, like the pacing. No one else walks with a stride of that much purpose.
Rollins, our families are pitched against each other. You enter my cabin at night with a pistol to my cheek, and then you ask me to trust you. How do I know this is not some ploy to send me to the ocean and take your brother back home?
Because the Rollinses, despite what it may look like right now, we aren't killers. We're just survivors.
Oh man, we're not killers. You say with a pistol in your hand,
Yeah.
like press your hand over my mouth. Why is it you that comes to tell me this and not Oliver?
Because Oliver loves you too much to see you bear this pain.
Oh boy, I gotta make a decision real soon. This is gonna be real tough.
Clack, 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 clack.
Oh god, I hate this. I hate this game so much. Oh Pat, I'm so angry at you. Okay. That pistol you carry. If we run into my sister on the way out, do you have intentions to use it?
I could tell you what, if you want to roll for this, if you want to read my thoughts.
I do want to read your thoughts.
Yes.
Oh. What am I at? I'm adding brain, which I'm pretty good at. Oh, that's a 12. Give me all the thoughts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom. What does this character intend to do is my first question, which, yeah.
We truly intend to leave the ship with as much value as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. I guess I really wanted to target that towards that question. Like, do you intend to, oh, actually, no, I'll ask a second question. When you say you're not killers, you're just survivors, are you telling the truth?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This is about money, not about vengeance, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that when you actually say it. You say it with like such honesty in your voice that comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know what you need most. I know what you did. I think I'm pretty happy. I might bank that one and see if something comes up. But yeah. I think I walk over. I want to, man. What, Catherine? I'll need your help on this. What sort of like small knick-knacky type thing would you have in your cabin that would hold some value to me? Whether it's monetary or sentimental or whatever. Something that like maybe from our family or something like that you've kept in your cabin.
Grandfather's spyglass.
Oh,
that has the dent from a French mini ball that he nearly caught.
Oh, that's so good. I think that I out of a drawer pull this spyglass and looking over at Jacob, I just say, we'll call it an early wedding present. And then I follow you, I guess.
Awesome.
Well,
I feel I've not so much gained a brother as lost a brother.
Oh man. I think if you two are sneaking out, I think this is where the acting under pressure needs to be rolled. To get back up on deck without anyone seeing you, but specifically without Morag seeing you.
Do we both need to roll?
One of you can roll and the other one can help or hinder. And I suppose Morag can hinder if Morag is looking for, if you want to.
Yeah, I believe she would.
Yeah.
That may well happen. Yeah.
All right.
But you can choose to do that after the roll.
Okay. Let me I'll roll for the, since I haven't been rolling that well anyways. We'll see how this turns out. Actually, no, that rolled pretty good. That was a 13.
A 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I guess no one. You're not hindering Sid.
I don't think I will. I think
Okay.
I'll, as much fun as it would be to hinder, I would feel disingenuous to do so.
Yeah, clearly I cannot push it. I could not push it down beyond an 11, so there's not any point.
No worries. So in that case, you do it. You are quiet, like this, like a gentle breeze. And you disguise the scuff of your feet with the lapping sounds of the water outside. And before you know it, you're on deck. Oliver is tucked on the side of the boat. And for now, there is a brief moment of quiet where the watch is changing, like the crew is there's a swap over happening. You know you've got only a few minutes.
Yeah, I motion for Christopher to move quickly, quietly. Like, let's go.
I probably have.
And you see, sorry, Christopher, you see Oliver there on the rowboat, and a strong box between his legs, tucked away.
Oliver, what is... Oliver, I've said it before. I will say it again. What is that large thing between your legs?
I think Oliver says, "Come, I love you. Let's be together like you wanted. We will live in calmer waters."
If you love me, then pass me that strongbox and I will climb into the boat.
I'm standing behind Christopher looking at Oliver, and I'm like,
gun still in hand.
You want to just push him into the boat?
yeah, I'm like, this is taking too long. There's no decision here. It's like, it's now. I'm pushing Christopher over the side into the rowboat. Hopefully he lands in it.
Against.
Is this going to be the moment when Morag comes on deck?
Yep.
Perfect.
John Yankee, hold her dice. We'll come to Southeast and
Nice. All right. So what do I need to roll, or is that a roll?
Roll plus brawn. It's going to be an act with force. When you try to act with force to seize or secure your hold on something, I guess in this case, someone.
Okay. So that's a 7. That's an 8. Is Christopher trying to hinder that?
I think I've got to be true to it. Or yeah, I've got to, and I'm sorry about that.
It's good.
It's at 6, 8, 9. I'm on a 9, so I can give you a -1.
Okay, so it's still mid range.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Yes.
Good.
Can I hinder?
Yes, of course.
Cool. I shout out to the helmsman, "Down your helm!" so that the ship won't lose way. That is a 7. So that will push you down another 1, right?
Yep.
So that makes it a 6 now, yes?
Yes, that does make it into a 6. So you say that the ship lurches?
Yeah, with the ship will start coming off. The wave will come off the ship, so yeah, it'll start to buck in the waves, and since it was probably heeled over a little bit, it'll probably come back to roll over.
There is a second that feels like an hour, where you've got this Jacob pushing, and then both of them disappear from view overboard. And there are there's splashes into the water, and like 2 balloons in the sea.
Oh, this is so perfect.
You're both gonna drown.
You got your man overboard drill ready.
What else can I do? I shout out at the sailing master to take the way off her completely, and I dive overboard. I have to save my brother, so I guess I'm acting with force here, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
So
no,
take
sorry, it's because you're not attacking. I mean, I guess it could hold.
I'm trying to take definite hold, right?
You're attacking the sea
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, I think it's more like you're acting under pressure.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think
more
that
sense.
would make sense. So
They're both good.
they are both good,
They're both good.
but I don't think there's sort of an enemy per se with the.
It's a 12.
A 12. Man, you guys are rolling great in the second half. So you jump overboard to save your brother. Not Jacob, I assume. You do it.
Blood, water. We'll see if there's time.
Please narrate to us how you grab hold. How you're planning to get back on ship.
Um,
Can either of you two in the water swim? I mean, Moray can swim.
Nope, definitely can't.
yeah.
Definitely not me.
I would say Jacob's had enough time at sea to
Yeah.
possibly. He might not be the best swimmer, but he can keep afloat a little bit at least, I guess.
To get back on board, I'm sure that my crew can help either with a boat hook or they can trail a rope into the water. So that's the plan. We've done this before. People fall off ships. It's a thing. They know I'll dive in after them. That's why they like me as the captain. All right, so I dive down into the murk and the water, and I see poor Christopher going down fast with his face upturned and that look of surprise and shock, and not quite betrayal, but that's starting, I think, too. And I just grab that hand, kick back up, and break the surface of the water, bobbing near the ship, which is slowing down a lot since they're probably taking sail down at this point. Yeah. Shouting for the crew. Sputtering for the crew, actually.
Sputtering. Christopher, as you're underwater, there is a hand that plunges around you. Everything is like this roiling, boiling sea. Do you want to sense what's beyond you?
Interesting. Really interesting question. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm enjoying being the passive damsel at this point.
Yeah, I think for sure. And you don't know what's happening, and you grab this hand. Yeah. So Jacob. Oh no, you're in the water. You know how to swim. There is a rope trailing behind the ship. You're also sputtering, and I think Oliver's on the ship. Oh, sorry, on the rowboat, and you can see that he's got a little knife, and he's trying to cut the ropes possibly, as well. What do you do?
So the rowboat's still like attached to the ship.
Yes, I think you lower it down usually, but I think load it a little bit, and then I think Oliver's just going to cut the rest, or is planning to anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna make for the rowboat to the best of my ability.
I think there is a big splash as the rowboat kind of falls into the water, and I think you can roll a act under pressure to get to the boat.
Oh, that's close. That's a 7.
7. Whew. Fall to buckle or break. Worst outcome, hard bargain, or an ugly choice. I mean, I feel like what breaks it isn't you so much as the rowboat. My choice or bargain to you is this. The rowboat breaches a little bit. It could be okay, but it's definitely not going to be able to carry something so heavy as a strong box of money.
Oh, yeah, I think I pull up, like I pull myself up on the side of the rowboat as Oliver's cutting that last rope, and I say, Oliver, it's not gonna make it, with us in the strong box. Look, tell Mama, tell Elizabeth, I did what I could. And like as soon as he cuts through that last bit of rope, I like put myself between the ship and the rowboat, and I kind of cast it off.
Oh no! And oh man, that is heavy. That is heavy. I almost don't have the heart to narrate Oliver rowing away. That's why I'm taking a moment. Yeah. So the oars dip into the water, then dip again, then dip again, then dip again. And what do Morag and Christopher do, I suppose?
As soon as I'm on the deck, I shout out, "Up foresail and jib! Come about! Mr. Wilson, you'll run out those chasers."
Yes, that's exactly what I was hoping was going to happen. Now, you said there were 4-inch guns, right?
4-pound guns, yeah.
Oh,
More than enough to blast a rowboat out of the water.
Slight difference between a 4-inch and a 4-pound. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, 4-inch gun would be impressive.
You did way more than the ship.
Oh man. All right. You shoot at.
I'm gonna try and avoid shooting at him because that will impoverish us all.
Yes.
I'm hoping to approach him, and I grab the speaking horn.
Yeah.
Am I able to get back on the ship, or am I left?
That is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I think that is up to you.
If you come aboard and we see you, I'm gonna have somebody try and at least restrain you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think
mutiny.
Yeah, I think I'm crawling up the side, and I like roll on the deck, and I'm just like, I'm so out of breath. I'm pretty much half dead already. Just fighting with this boiling sea, and I'm just laying there.
Jacob Rollins, yon mutinous dog, I'll have business with you in a moment.
Yeah, and I think the first mate is there, like, tying you up, reading you your, like, crimes, etc., and then, like, the legal proceedings are being already
Captain,
against you.
Captain, please. Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, please listen.
Speak your piece, Jacob Rollins. Choose your words carefully. They're among the last you'll speak.
I've resigned myself to that fate. Do with me what you will. Cast me off to the locker. Hang me as a traitor. I do not care. But this is for you. Can you make that amends to my family?
Jacob Rollins, there's some grit at your bottom at least. But, Christopher, your beloved's a coward. For if a man's going to impoverish someone, he should stare him in the face when he's doing it. That's what I did. I hated every second of it.
And you truly are cold and heartless.
Heartless?
Heartless.
Jacob Rollins, did I no offer you a job on my ship? Did I no give you a chance to find a better life? Did I no do that for every man I could?
Did you allow my father to fall sick after you kicked us off our land and he had no food in his belly to fight it off?
I could not save all, Jacob Rollins, and the Lord came for those he was coming for.
But you
I'm
could
but
have
one
delayed
woman
it.
alone on this empty ocean.
All I ask is to let Oliver go before, like, you do whatever with me.
I'll have Oliver off my boat, but I'll have him not impoverish every man on it.
Oh my. And so you call for Oliver. Oliver's going to keep rowing.
Oliver, ponder your situation. If I blast you out of the water, I'm already out the money that you stole. So I have no inclination to avoid that, except for ties of love and friendship.
Aye, and those ties of love and friendships, what stop you blow me out of this water? And he keeps paddling. He's like, I've got a ways to go yet.
So as they're like restraining me and like pushing me down towards below deck, I'm like, row, bastard, row.
Yeah, definitely. It's like someone's already given up an opportunity so that I have this opportunity. And Oliver will continue to do good by Jacob's last will and row.
Up mainsail. Christopher, talk to your lover. I hand you the speaking horn.
Yeah, perfect. I've been trying to think of what I should say for a long time, and I'm it's so hard. Oliver, whatever love remains in my heart for you is all that is keeping me from ordering you to be sent to the bottom of the sea. I ask you for once to put. I ask you, if ever our relationship was true, if ever there was truly love between us, to turn back now and save me the pain of sinking you.
Oof. Oh no, Christopher. Relying on love, we know how that will end up.
Oh, it's just the worst idea I've ever had.
Because there is not even a reply. And perhaps Oliver is feigning deafness, that he's too far out of range to reply. I think he hears it though. I think he just doesn't have the words to reply to it. Nothing in reply but the steady rowing, slopping of oars against the sea.
Morag, and I like hand you back the horn. I say, we will have an opportunity to make that money back. I suggest you do not leave him with the same luxury. And then just like a nod, probably a hand like grasping your arm. But it is your ship, Captain. And like I walk off to my cabin.
Bitch.
Yep.
Once again, Morag. Left to do. I think there is an albatross, a single lone albatross flying high above the ship. Just lazy circles as this is happening.
Oliver, 'tis your last chance, lad. Turn back now, and I'll put you on the land.
We can do this two ways. One is if you really want to manipulate Oliver, we can roll that manipulate another roll. If not, we can move to a resolution. Depends whether you want to shoot at Oliver or not. Because I'm inclined, I'm inclined to have Oliver continue rowing away. So you'll have to manipulate him if that is your desire.
V, would there happen to be a convenient fog bank nearby?
Absolutely. There are fog banks everywhere. This is Scotland.
So many fog banks.
So, I call out to John Yankee, who apparently is my first mate, and tell him
Yes.
to change course
Mhm.
so that only someone with a lot of experience at the sea can see that what I'm doing is I'm herding Oliver towards the fog bank.
Mhm.
And then I call out to Ravi in the forecast. So let's say, Sir Ravi, when we come to 45 fathoms, you'll open fire. First one, then the other. Be careful, boy. We'll lose him in the fog otherwise. And then I just sit back and take the helm.
Beautiful. Yeah. I guess we
Jacob
will.
Rollins, come to my quarterdeck, which is, not raised or anything. It's just, that's what it's called. It's called the quarterdeck.
Let's have the scene on the boat, and then I think let's have that while the maneuver is being set up. What happens on the quarterdeck?
Jacob Rollins. Is that boy going to take money back to your family?
It may not be money when it gets there. When it gets there, it'll be our survival. Are you going to take food from my family?
Are you not
Again.
asking me to take food from my crew?
I ever tell you how good of a strider I was?
Are you a good foretopman?
I think I could be one of your better crewmates for as long as I live.
You'll be working off your debt and share, probably for as long as you live. And you will tell every man on this boat that the debt you owe them. You did not rob me, Jacob Rollins. You robbed them.
I will suffer the consequences of that. But I'll be warned to know the fact that my family has full bellies this winter.
Go claim your hammock from John Yankee. I'd advise you take a different name. It shall not but sit bitter upon my tongue.
Thank you, Captain.
Brother mine. I think actually I'm gonna just go down into the cabin because I know that they're gonna open up fire too far away and that he's gonna get into the fog bank. So I'm just walking down into the cabin.
You're a coward. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
I think you find me just like sitting in probably in your cabin, I reckon, sitting there with like this spyglass in my hands, like rolling it over.
We can still hold course for Cork. James McWhorter's a fair man. I'm sure that you could find some position as purser somewhat if you still wish to go to India.
I think I will find my employment somewhere far from the docks. I will explore the subcontinent, head north into the land. I think I've seen enough of the ocean to last me a lifetime.
Well, there's the small manner of the Atlantic, South Atlantic, and Indian Oceans between you and Calcutta, but we'll take that as a given. Perhaps you can arrange passage. Perhaps Oliver will let the money you need.
Why do you taunt me? Do you not see the pain that I'm in and the struggle that I'm going through? Do you take joy in this?
I just impoverished my entire crew to make up an injury that our family did to another. I broke my brother's heart, and I took a violent criminal on board our ship. Not having a great day, Christopher. It's not been one of the top Morag days, is what I'm saying.
You have always been blessed with such resilience. If anyone could see their way through this to take the ship and the crew, I'm sure it's you.
Do you know what resilience is, Christopher, my beloved brother? Resilience is when your heart breaks, but your skin doesn't crack.
I think like a hand like traces to like the wrinkles and wear of the sun on his skin, and just for like hands you, like extends out the spyglass to you and says, perhaps I will heal in time, but for now I think I would just like to be alone and to sleep for a day or two.
I put you on shore on Cork Dock. That's when you stop being my brother. That's the price. And I head back up on deck.
Wow,
Cool. And
that's cool.
And as you're there in the cabin under deck, Christopher, you just hear the sound of cannon.
Mm.
Just hear the shots, and we, as an outro, we see the projectile tear through the fog banks, tearing like a great big scar across it. But then it swallows the hole back up, and is a fog bank once more. And that's the end of Alas for the Awful Sea. Thank you all for playing. You guys were absolutely amazing.
Oh my god. What a tremendous experience. Thank you so much.
This game was amazing. This was so much fun.
It was fun. And thank you, Catherine, for being such a hard-ass captain.
Oh my god.
So,
You two are such amazing foils.
Yeah, well, it's such an amazing character arcs, and not softening your blows when it counts is really good.
Can I buy this physically in the States yet, V?
Yeah, you can.
Excellent.
You can.
I'm going to have to hit up Jim Crocker and see if he's going to have this for Metatopia or Dreamation.
Mm. Oh man, so heartbreaking this one was, though.
Yeah, that was tough. I feel bad for Sid. It was like the rope in a tug of war the whole time.
Yeah, no, that was so perfect.
For the record, I was going to blow Oliver out of the water, and then Jacob talked me down.
For the record, I was probably going to shoot somebody in this session until Sid failed the love roll back on the beach, and I realized that Oliver was in it for the family. And I'm like, all right, I got this. All right.
Perfect. I have to say the arc of this captain that like is torn between making up for past misdeeds and like sustaining the life on the ship. I just think, oh, that was so great. And like, I just love the whole thing was so good.
There was some of the most loaded conversations in this game that I've had, and it was such a joy to be able to sort of just be part of that. It was incredible. So thank you. You guys brought your triple A games.
You're both an absolute joy to play off and play into and stuff like that. So that was such a thank you.
That's it. It was so much fun to play with you for the first time, and Pat, it was great to see you again. Oh, thank you. Geez, now I got to follow this with my own game.
Yeah. What are you playing, Catherine?
I'm running Rovers tomorrow, which is my little love letter to Traveler World of Dungeons turbo hack I did.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
I don't have. I was going to ask when it was, but I literally don't have a spare moment in my schedule.
Cool. I'm gonna just to break it. I'm just gonna stop the broadcast. And thank you for everyone who's been here. And yeah, this has been GauntletCon 2018, Alas for the Awful Sea.